There he is,
How
Patrick
are
Bet
you?
David. I'm
How you
great.
doing?
I'm great, sir. It's great to see you. Not that you need an introduction, but everybody, this is Patrick Bet David, experienced and accomplished businessman, and also a very, very serious broadcaster, Valuetainment, one of the best channels out there. And you were on London Reel, what, over 2 years ago, maybe? You were in London. We had a great
2 years ago,
conversation.
one of my favorite interviews ever was with you, if not the best one ever.
Man, that's a strong words coming from a guy who's conducted some amazing interviews. So thanks. We went deep, man. It was a real good experience having that chat.
I remember it like it was yesterday, and it was good times.
It was really good, man. It was really good. It's been fun watching you. You know, your recent book, Your Next Five Moves, is on my Audible. So and it's blowing up out there, and you're continuing to push the envelope with your guests. It's been great to see. You know, I've taken a break for the last few months of actually having guests because I've been, running to be the next mayor of London. So it's been nice to watch you because I miss having these conversations, to be honest.
I got to tell you, though, watching you is, you and I haven't spoken, I don't know, since the last time I was in London, and maybe we've had some exchange here and there. But I've been obviously following. It's like the whole thing with Facebook. You may not see your family, but you see the pictures, kids growing up. But it's very interesting seeing you play offense and go up against a guy like Sadiq Khan in London, who I would say is probably a controversial figure. It's probably somebody that you and him could be on complete opposite ends when it comes down to beliefs and infrastructure, and seeing what you're trying to encourage people to do and consider, whether it's to make London more safe and minimize the amount of stats that you're seeing with knives and challenges people are facing and not feeling safe with their kids being out there. I mean, it's a scary sight to see the stats coming out. And, it's very exciting. I saw you going from you were fourth place, then third place, then second, and then your odds kept going low, higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. And then the bus comes out, and then you're going talking to people. I got to tell you, it's been very exciting following your journey.
I try to think sometimes like Conor McGregor. I'm trying to give people a show here. And, Patrick, I don't think anyone's ever seen someone run for the mayor of London like we have. I mean, we had the biggest outdoor advertisement campaign in British political history, let alone mayor. I'm talking even for the national elections. We had these massive digital billboards. Obviously, I got this digital battle bus. I've driven now almost 5,000 miles just in London over the last 3 months. And I got a digital broadcasting studio in the back. So I'm literally there in 3 cameras going through the boroughs of London. I do these 90-minute broadcasts. I take questions from people on the streets as I go by. And man, no one's ever seen anything like it before. And I'm digitally transparent like you are. So I'm literally doing live chats. I'm taking live questions, hard questions. I'm out in the street talking to people. I'm blogging. And people are like, whoa, we're used to a politician. They show up 3 weeks before the elections here. They do a couple photo ops. They never talk to the public without their handlers, and then they go back to their offices and hide. And I'm out there, engaging with people. So honestly, Patrick, I think this is the new wave of politics. I think we're going to get to where it becomes more digitized, and the gatekeepers, which could have been newspapers, TV channels, or even political parties, maybe get removed a little bit, and you can take your message straight to the people. But it's also had challenges as well, to say the least.
So what's been the biggest challenge for you? I know. If I was following it at the beginning, you went out, you got fined, they shut you down a little bit, and then you were allowed to go back in there. But what's been the biggest challenge for you on your run here?
Honestly, Patrick, I've been in business world for 30 years. You have as well. And I've been, I started in automotive, then went to aerospace, then went to Wall Street. I know you worked at Morgan Stanley as well, and then came over here. When you look at politics that way, nothing they do makes sense. Because as an entrepreneur, you're always trying to add value to your customer. And if you're wrong, either you get eliminated or a competitor does it and you learn. In politics, it seems that when you don't add value to the customer, you make excuses, you raise taxes, you ask for bailouts, and then you do a spin. You got this two-party system, which is an illusion of choice, I think, that kind of sign off on each other's failures and give you this choice every 4 or 5 years. But it's the same people in the background that get paid the salaries by the citizens. So getting my head around the fact that the mayor of London wasn't trying to support business people was hard. When I see him making decisions that seem to slow down the economy of London, that was hard. I recently was talking to someone and I said, London was built on business. The Romans didn't come here because of the view. They came here because there was commerce. And yet he seems to forget that tax revenues, everybody's well-being, education, and mental health is all based on getting back to work. So that was hard. I got shut down by the police I got banned from campaigning back in January, even though everything we were doing was completely COVID secure. So that was weird, the intimidation factor. And then the fact the mayor won't debate me. The BBC, our national broadcaster, won't invite me on for a debate, even though the bookies have me in second place. The polling companies, which are what I say is a 20th century instrument trying to monitor a 21st century phenomenon, they think I'm far back. But the bookies, where all the money is trading places, they've had me in second for a while. So, that's been interesting. Also, I had to study the problems of London. Patrick, I didn't really understand the problem with crime and housing and transport 8 months ago, but I spent 8 months working on it, and that's this manifesto. I think I sent you a digital copy. This is 50 pages of work, and I actually work behind the scenes.
Very thorough.
You noticed that? Okay, yeah. I've had some people in Houses of Parliament that said it's the best manifesto they've ever seen, and I was like, wow. And so I'm trying not to do I'm trying not to do 5% better than the last guy that ran. I'm just trying to totally break all the rules and say, how would I do this if I had to do the best possible job? So I work with people behind the scenes in the House of Lords, senior members of the Metropolitan Police, senior members of Transport for London, top architects who's built my modular housing design and has actually mocked up what it actually looks like on the streets. And again, entrepreneurs, economists. So this document, I think, proves to people that I'm more than just the American in the loud suit, which is what I first come across as. But also there's been an awareness campaign because, no one had heard of me before from a political standpoint. I mean, Patrick, we ran the numbers on YouTube and 1.7 million Londoners had actually engaged with London Real before I started out of 9.5 million. So we have this awareness that the polls don't get either. I mean, my life has been on YouTube for 10 years. I meet people on the streets that saw my documentary film about doing an Ironman race, saw me being open and honest about my struggles with addiction and overdose, saw me doing all this stuff, and they're like, Brian, we know who you are. You're the guy that gave us David Goggins and gave us Dorian Yates and gave us Patrick Bet-David. Like, we've been watching what you've been doing for years, and yet my opponents think, oh, you're just another political candidate, but we're not. So it's been a real education process, to say the least. We're 13 days out now from the election, and it's like mayor season. Now the public starts to engage. And so there's media, we've been in places like the Evening Standard and the Times. This is what they call me, Patrick. This is the front page of the Evening Standard. The breakdancing ex-banker trying to be your next mayor. And they love my story with drugs. Again, I've been really honest on my channel. So they go right to the heroin overdose in 2001 in New York City, and I'm happy to talk about it. They got pictures of my wife and me in there. So, I'm probably the most interesting candidate, to say the least. The American accent ups a lot, but I've been here for 21 years. I've been a citizen for 14 years. My kids were born here. I plan on being buried here. So I'm a Londoner is the way I feel.